Oh, I'm actually live.
We are live. Thanks everyone for joining our bonus week. Yes, this is the Harvest Easy Gum live weekly webinar on Zoom and live on our Facebook page. Today is our bonus week. We are coming to talk about green state contouring and polishing with Harvest Nano Zirconia. This right here is a fully finished, contoured, and polished in the green state before firing full arch all on X case that Shauna worked on. And then this is what it looks like after sintering. Shauna, I kind of don't believe that this is directly out of the sintering oven. Is this for real?
It's yeah, I don't even think the picture really does it justice because like in person, it's it's phenomenal. Like I've never worked with a zirconia that can polish this way and just come out of the centering oven just like ready to roll. Like I have the option to glaze or not to glaze, which is like extremely unique to this. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Amazing. So for those of you that missed it, this is what the Harvest Nano looks like in the green state, contoured and polished in the green state. And this is what it will look like coming straight out of the sintering oven. Some great efficiency gains here that we will go dive deep into and talk more about. Here's some just quick up close photos. The Wheel of Death, adding some
Wait, no, I
interproximal
want
stuff
people to
here.
comment. People have to comment in the comments, like, does this picture give you anxiety? Because it gives me anxiety just like looking at it. I'm like, oh, I was the one doing it, but yeah,
Shauna,
I
you
just
still got
can't.
all your fingers, right? We don't need
I
a workman's
do.
comp plane. All right, good.
I do.
And then some shaping in the green state. We'll talk about the burrs that you use and the technique that you use. And then a
Mm.
nice fluffy wheel, adding that polish to get to this green state polished result. And then this is what it's going to look like coming out of the sintering oven. So if you're here with us, this is what we're talking about today. Green state contouring, polishing with the Harvest Nano Zirconia. Really exciting. You've dropped in live or signed up on Zoom. Thank you for joining us. We are here every week, Thursdays, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. The last 3 weeks we covered Easy Gum. This week, today is our bonus topic on green state contouring and polishing. Thank you for joining us. Starting again next week, we're going to hit up the denture prototype level 1 with Harvest Easy Gum half strip on a denture try-in, 5 minutes, easy peasy. We'll talk about bonding, speed, how to add that pink super quick. The week after that, we'll be talking about implant provisionals, a little more elevated aesthetics. And then the week after that, using Easy Gum as a definitive pink characterization on the Nano Zirconia, which is also super exciting. But you're here today. We're talking about green state contouring and polishing. It is our bonus week. And I wanted to ask the question, why should we care about this green state workflow? A couple pain points. We all know this is an obvious one that adjusting zirconia in the sintered state is for sure painful. And so whatever we can do in the green state is going to be much smoother. But if you've adjusted typical isostatically pressed zirconias in the green state, you might have some fear of flaking or chipping in the green state where the zirconia is maybe not so stable for you. So we want you to have confidence in that workflow. The Harvest nanoparticles won't let you down. They're high density nanoparticles without any binders. So when you're shaping it and working with it in the green state, it is not going to flake or chip on you. Also, when you're polishing zirconia in the sintered state, sometimes you might experience this pearl effect, and that's from heat being transferred and like this overworking, over polishing to try to get that shine in your sintered zirconia. You can then end up with this pearl effect. So we want perfection. We know you want perfection. So we're going to show you how to polish Harvest Nano Zirconia in the green state so that you have this smooth, predictable, highly aesthetic outcome. So these are the value points we're going to cover today. Here it is again, polished in the green state, contoured in the green state, and here's what it should and can look like directly out of your sintering oven. So Shauna, I'm going to give it over to you, and you're just going to walk us through some of these photos in your workflow, and then we'll go hands-on in a couple minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is probably going to be my favorite to share is the fact that we can do a full hybrid. I can get two arches in one puck because I don't have to use a centering bar. I've been doing this for months now and I've had great success. I haven't had any warping whatsoever um, with it, whether it be thinner or thicker hybrid. It's there's no words. I mean, just you can put two in one. That's it right there. That's all you need. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite features. I can get two pucks in there without the centering bar too, because there's less shrinkage that happens with this zirconia.
Amazing. Yes, speed sintering
Mhm.
is a huge value point for the Harvest Nano with All on X. Fitting two arches in a puck for sure is huge. So walk us through your green state workflow.
It varies. I mean, I have a plan before I start with each case. But of course, my first steps are going to be to get the sprues off. I like to use something like a softer type medium grit. I use the Wagner bullets to do that. These are also some fine diamonds. They have like a gold shank to them. They're also from the Wagner kit. I like these because of the point in the shape of them. I start out by marking my lines ever so slightly, but then the next step, I'm going to go in and actually draw my lines. Now, not everybody is going to have this much work to do. Some out there have some phenomenal machines and milling strategies, and these come out just like perfect. And you're doing minimal, maybe just adding like some fine details. But for others that have to put back in that detail into your arches, I typically use pencil. I will mark my angles. Our goal is to make these teeth look 3D. They're not flat. So I do need to put some shape back into them. So I use this like it's a little bit of a longer cone like shaped burr, but this actually lets me get down inside of the embrasures around the papilla and start kind of cutting these teeth out interproximally. And I'm still doing the same thing here. I'm just kind of rolling over and creating that marginal and gingival ridge. So when I'm going to bring my ceramic to it, I don't really over define it, but I do make sure that when it's centered, I can see that line of where my start stop line is. I like that shot. It's like kicking it up a little bit. I do also use, if I need to remove like a little bit more than usual, I'll use like a medium grit. And this is like a needle point medium grit diamond to help shape. And that's what I'm doing here too. I'm just kind of rolling over. I'm not really concerned with the lines that I'm making because a little further down, I have a polishing process that will get rid of all of that. My goal here is to just really start shaping the teeth, the marginal, ridges need to start appearing. I need to like make them look like they're singular teeth, and cutting out those interproximals and shaping the papilla. I also will use, this is probably my favorite tool. It's a blade. It's a surgical blade. I like using number 12s, which has a curve to it. But my go-to is just that number 25 lab blade. And I use a brand new one on every case. It has to be super sharp. You don't want to use a dull blade and kind of get underneath of it. I mean, regardless of any zirconia, you can cut into it and like cut off pieces with a duller blade. So the sharper the blade, the better. This is the like little fluffy Scotch Brite. This one is the soft, and the soft is going to just do very minimal polishing of just the surface, whereas the medium, which is the black one, will actually start removing that top layer off. I call it like the magic eraser of Green State because no matter what you do, if you mess up, just get one of these. Just buff it out. It just kind of makes it nice and smooth, gets those lines that you cut into it, before. I always will come back with the disc. I have a metal disc, and then I also have um, the Dynex Brilliant disc. I'll kind of go back and forth depending on the case. This one's a little bit thinner, so I can get into a tighter spot and open those embrasures. So I will use the metal disc. Going back and forth, I love the round diamond. This I can just roll over the marginal ridges. I can start to create that surface anatomy that I like. And of course, you can do minimal or go crazy with it. I kind of hit the middle of the road when I do this. Now, I know that it looks like I'm kind of creating some really weird lines, but again, I'm going to polish that out. I'm just creating the contour and the shape of the anatomy first, kind of focusing on that. And, horizontal lines, I like to add those in some cases. But like again, like when I start a case, I have a plan. Like I have a vision of what this is going to look like in the end. Is it going to fit the patient? And I'm sorry, my compressor just kicked on.
While you're
Um,
waiting, Shauna, we do have a question from Dennis in the audience, real quick, if you'd like
yeah.
to answer that. Dennis is asking, he'd like to know your sintering time and temp without the supports.
I have that information it's listed onto the Harvest website under resources with the Nano. Um, I can reach out to you personally and give you some different settings, and it really depends on what oven you're using. Um, we can kind of we can hone in on that and kind of help you with those settings in particular. I don't have them in front of me, but I
We
can
can
get
drop
those
a link
to
into
you. Yeah.
when Shauna goes hands on, I'll go find a link and drop it into the chat.
Okay. Oh, that'll be awesome.
Perfect.
Here I also will kind of jump back and forth between now these are sharp scalers. Those hard to reach places, and I don't really cut with these. I kind of burnish with these. So if I do have any harsh lines in some areas that you just feel like you can't get with the blade, can't get to it. I will use these sharp scalers and kind of like rub it against the edge and it will smooth it out. This is just a rubber polisher bullet. This is from one of the Wagner kits. I like the texture of this particular polisher. It does help smooth things out. Here I'm using again. This picture, I'm using the felt wheel. So everyone knows that I'm crazy about this felt wheel I found in the back of my drawer one day and has become such a staple in all things that I do, polishing. But yeah, the felt wheel I've started using on my zirconia and green state. It really just smooths it out. And you can get just a little bit of smoothing and kind of keep the texture, or you can use it and it will just like make it look like butter. It's phenomenal. My very last tool that I'm going to use for that high polish, and that's going to be that fluffy brush. So that a lot of you have seen me do my polishing techniques with the speed polish. Um, it's the same brush. It's the same just cotton fluffy brush. And this is also unique to Nano that I have not been able to achieve with any other zirconia. Um, it polishes in such a different way. I mean, it was effortless to get it to this high shine. I got everything nice and smooth. I used my Scotch Brights, my felt wheel, but then coming back over to this, it was just like instant shine. And I do this because on the other side of sintering, it looks like I have the option to glaze or not to glaze. And depending on which direction I'm going in my workflow, am I going to be placing easy gum on this or am I going to be putting ceramics on this? Um, but yeah, I mean, even if I were to put ceramic and glaze on this, it would give me just the prettiest finish. Using minimal glaze, being able to just to float my colors into it. Of course, I would just do a light sandblast just to break that surface. Um, but yeah, I've had great success with it. That's pretty.
This is so awesome. Yeah, this picture to me is just beautiful. Amazing results straight out of the sintering oven. So it's time. It's
All
time for
right,
you
I'm
to
going to
show
show,
us.
but the one thing also too with this is, I'm showing this on hybrids. This can very well be used on single molar crowns. I mean, you're talking about milling, polishing, sintering. You could possibly be done. Just need to seed it, make sure that your margins, are good, your bites tapped in, and that's minimal. You would probably have the option to not have to glaze at all. You could characterize in green state with, colors, just to eliminate that last process of having to fire it again, which is a pretty cool thing. I think if you have a lot of them in a high production, that's just going to speed you up even faster.
All right, so let's jump in. So
All
you're
right, let me
gonna
switch.
show us some hands-on stuff. You're not gonna show every step from start to finish. We're gonna kind of drop into your workflow here, where
Can you,
you gonna we can see your desktop background. Can't see your webcam.
you can't see me. There we go.
Yep, there you go.
All right. Let me turn this guy off. So I have two arches here with me. One having done a little bit of the green state, and the other I have not touched at all. And again, a lot of people out there will have machines that are doing, phenomenal, milling. You're not really going to have to be doing too much, but you can apply this polishing and just these fine tunes. I feel like
It's a little the white's a little washed out there. There you go.
that a little,
So, oh,
that a little better.
yep, that's better. Yeah.
Okay, zirconia behave. Um, So what I'm going to do, I am going to show my polishing process on this one, which has not been polished yet. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is the felt wheel, and I'll be using the fluffy brush on this. Now, if for some reason I had a lot of lines in this and I didn't like the way that it looked, and I wanted a smoother finish to it before I polished, of course, I would go in with this Scotch Brite. Now, this is the medium. The brown one, I believe, is softer. It's a little lighter and it's less crunchy if you pinch it. So I'm going to start with the felt wheel since it is looking pretty smooth. I also would go into, if I found like I couldn't reach these interproximal areas, I would use my blade, and I don't like to use a handle, but I would just kind of lay it to the side and then just light scrapes to help shape. And then that will define those lines for you. So I know a lot of people look at me, they're like, you use a blade? I'm like, yeah. I get really good results, and I can get into those nooks and crannies pretty well too. You can also do anatomy in here. You can just, you're going to want to make it a little extra, a little exaggerated, because when it goes to center and it does shrink a little bit, that does go away. So I know a lot of people start with the green state and they really don't know how far to take it, but be a little extra with it. Just using a brush to get anything off of it. Now with the felt, this is not going to be high speed or high pressure. This is going to be actually really light. And I'm using like the edge of the felt, and it's an up and down motion. I'm just focusing on the teeth. I don't need the tissue area to be shiny. That's going to be covered up. I start on the marginal ridges and just pulling straight
You're
down.
out of focus there.
My camera's like, I don't want to today.
There
Better.
you go.
There we go.
Yep.
Now we got it.
Yeah. So any tips on the felt wheel here? Like anything to watch out, like overdoing it? Like how much speed and pressure are you using?
I mean, it's very, very little. So I'm like very light pressure to start with. Very light speed. It's going to be slow, low and slow. If you press into this, you're going to start removing materials. You're going to start making dents, and you're going to just buff out all the anatomy that you just put into it. What you're trying to achieve is that smooth, like buttery looking texture on the surface. So you don't want any lines or lumps or bumps because, of course, if you're centering, that's going to show up in that. If that helps. There we go. It's hard to show zirconia on a camera.
Yeah, a white
Yeah.
substrate is likes to reflect a lot of light.
So I'm kind of, hiding it a little bit, but you can see how smooth it is. But so the last piece is going to be that cotton fluffy. And what I'm going to do with that, I can use a little bit of a higher speed, but it's a light pressure, just up and down, just on the teeth.
And you were mentioning that you've tried or attempted to use the cotton fluffy on
Yep.
other isostatically pressed zirconias, and the result wasn't the same.
No, I mean, I purposely, I have some like, the graveyard of milled things. So I've tried to get this polish on other zirconias and I can't. I can't get that high shine um on those. I mean, it was very, very unique from the very beginning when I started using this. That's what really stuck out for me was my ability to get that shine.
Do you have a sample of, maybe when you're done here, we could kind of compare like the nano surface finish in green state compared to isostatically pressed surface finish in green state?
I do. I have one right next to me.
I know you do. I was just asking.
Like, how did you know? Like, oh, here's our in between, I'm going to use a microfiber. Now, if you're going to be doing any like liquid staining, that has to happen before your polish. So once you, trying to see if that'll get focused.
Yeah, because you want the liquid stain to absorb and penetrate into the green state, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's really hard to, there we go. A little better. So I'm going to see if I can get it to focus, but you can see like the texture on this super smooth, but I still have a little bit of that anatomy, a little bit of the, the texture that I've placed in here. Um, I like that. And then I can just kind of take it even a step further afterwards. So beside me, this is one that I've actually tried before and I couldn't get it to shine. I can get the surface, pretty smooth, but nowhere near the high shine that I get on the Nano. I'm trying to see if I can. There we go.
It's kind of hard to tell from here.
I know it is really hard to tell, on this camera, but I mean, just describing the texture of it, it's porous. So I don't know if you've ever, attempted to do green state on, other zirconias and you're afraid to touch it because it's like you're afraid if you hit that bubble, it's just going to start crumbling and just you're going to have a huge dent or a gap or a bubble here. And it's like, okay,
Maybe,
great. How do I fix it?
maybe talk about the high density of the nano and how it does behave different in your green state.
It does. So, and that's one of the reasons why I can actually use some of these instruments the way that I do is because I'm so much more confident, working with this and being able to carve things out and put the extra time in the anatomy is because the density allows it to happen. Whereas some others have a lot of air in them. They're very porous, and all you got to do is like literally just touch it, and you feel like it's just crumbling under. So that can be a little frustrating, especially when you want to take it to the next level. Um, but yeah, I mean, even like the sound of it, when you scrape across it, you get a higher pitch. It's just a much denser. zirconia than some of the others. But it's also when centered, which I have one, it's super luminous. Um, I've taken a couple pictures with light coming up and underneath of it, and it just glows. And I think that's a unique thing too, because I've had some where I feel like I don't really get that luminous natural look to it. I When I shine a light through it, I see a lot of layers. I see the lines of the layers, which I don't personally like. I don't think it looks natural. Especially when you get that line that like cuts across in this general area. Um, but yeah, I think that the density is a huge key factor for me. What gives me the ability to really carve it out, to put the extra detail in, and to get this high polish. If it didn't have that density, you're not going to be able to get this polish. It would just be air bubbles showing up over and over and over again, and you would just be removing surface on it. Um, but yeah, I think those are my key. I have one that has not been finished and one that has. And of course, with my fluffy brush, I would just keep working and, pulling out this higher shine, all the way across from side to side. Um, but yeah.
Amazing.
And
Do you
then
have the centered one there or no?
I do. So here's the centered. So this one is centered. And this has no glaze. I have not touched it whatsoever. And the really unique part of this is like when I put the anatomy, and I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not. I can see it in person, but the translucency that's in the incisals, which really isn't translucent, it's the color. So it has a color blend technology, which is again unique to Nano or Harvest Nano. So it's almost kind of creating those contours is pulling out, that incisal color to make it look even more natural.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible that those teeth
Yeah.
are, I don't believe you that it's straight out of the sintering oven.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I wish I could just like visit everybody and show them in person. It's just it looks phenomenal. I'm really picky about, especially with hybrids, but this really gives me so many options for my next step in whatever direction I go in. But yeah.
Amazing work. Any questions from the audience on green state, contouring, finishing, polishing?
Oh, here's one too.
Let,
This is Nano with Easy Gum with just being polished. There we go. So this is one of my optional workflows.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Love to hear if anyone in the audience is currently polishing zirconia in green state, if that's something that they've attempted to do, and if they've had, acceptable results.
And go a
Um,
little bit more. Yeah,
hmm, it's very soothing.
I
Like
know. This is
relaxes
like
me.
it's like therapy. I'll have to take some pictures so we can post online of this one after. I mean, I just don't the camera just doesn't do it justice.
Any of you watching the live stream, Sean and I are available for one-on-one training. If you guys want to book a time with us, we're happy to send you some EasyGum demo kits if you want to try EasyGum for the first time. And then Shauna can do a training with you and your team if you want to have other people on your team join you. If you wanted to talk about polishing nano zirconia or contouring nano zirconia, we'd love to talk about that. We're available anytime that you guys want. Again, we'll be here every Thursday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. Next week, we'll launch back into Easy Gum, Harvest Easy Gum, week one, level one, we call it, with using Easy Gum for speed on a monolithic tri-indenture. Shauna, anything more to show us or talk about before
Um,
you come off camera?
no, I don't think so. I think that, it, yeah. I mean, look how cute it is. I'm
So
trying to like block the light.
the one on the left is straight out of the mill, and the one on the right is contoured and
Yeah.
finished, polished.
So all of you out there with those phenomenal mills and strategies, I'm jealous. Not all of us get that, but yeah, this is definitely my workflow for, getting it to look a little more high end. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome, Shauna. Go ahead, Joe. Breaking up, Joe.
work. So I thought I'd pass that on. Sorry, I was had said in the chat, thank you. I love the polishing technique. Nice work. So I just wanted to pass that feedback along, Sean.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. All right, let me share my screen and wrap it up with a few slides. So you guys can see that okay. Yeah, so this is where we ended up
Yep.
pre-sinter. And then this, of course, again, is what it's going to look like post-sinter. Beautiful surface finish, ready to go. And this would for sure be the recommended workflow if you're going to be preparing the Harvest Nano for an easy gum workflow, where you're going to be applying easy gum. It's absolutely relevant to consider skipping the glaze, where you could be characterizing in green state, contouring, polishing in green state, pulling it out of the sintering oven, applying easy gum, light cure, polish, and you're good. So here's a Harvest Nano Zirconia hybrid with easy gum. And there's no glaze on this, right, Shauna?
No, none at all. Yeah, it's just polish.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Super cool. Super cool. So again, we'll be here next week covering level 1, easy gum for denture prototypes, half strip on a denture in about 5 minutes. We'll talk about the bonding, the workflow, just getting started, the basics, the speed of easy gum. And then the week after, we'll hit up level 2 again, implant provisionals. And then in 3 weeks from today, Harvest Nano Zirconia with easy gum will for sure be touching on this green state polishing again, and then applying easy gum on zirconia for those of you who are interested. The Harvest Nano Zirconia does come in 4 thicknesses: 14, 18, 22, and 25. And Sasha, I believe we're going to have 10s and 12s here soon in the next couple weeks. Um, a variety of shades. You can run over to harvestdental.com, learn more there. Also, you can download our sintering guide there on our website on the Harvest Nano product page. Just to touch on Easy Gum, this is the shade family of the strips. Comes in 6 shades. We've named it after the lucid tone shades: original pink, dark reddish pink, light pink. And then we have 2 opaque shades: the original pink opaque, dark reddish pink opaque. Those are really good for masking out the white in the denture try-in workflow. We have a system of modifiers and intense modifiers. We'll be touching on these again next week. Please join our YouTube channel. Check us out there. We're posting these webinars there. We have lots of educational videos there. We have some 5-minute quick overviews. We have some 1-hour step-by-step videos. So check us out on YouTube. Join our Pink Different Facebook group. It's a Facebook group focused on pink aesthetics. Of course, we are highlighting Easy Gum, but if you have a wax case you want to show or any other type of pink aesthetics, we would love to celebrate that in our Facebook group there. So again, we will see you guys next week on Thursday. And if anyone has any questions, please just throw them
Hey,
in now. Joe, yeah.
yeah, we've got another one from Pam. Pam wants to know if the material comes in a 90 millimeter diameter, 95 millimeter diameter for zircon Zon mill.
Currently, no, not yet. I'm not sure. That would be a Sasha question if that's on the roadmap. But currently, all we have is the 98.5 millimeter diameters. Good question.
And from the Facebook audience, not a question, but we do have Anna Maria, who wants to book a one-on-one session. So I gave out the email
Yay.
to connect with
Wonderful.
that schedule.
We'd love to.
Shout out
We'd
to
love to.
Anna Maria from the Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Thank
would love to do like some one-on-ones. I will do my green state a one-on-one, easy gum, even just to discuss all of the options that you do have and directions you can go in and workflows that I have done personally myself that are successful. But yeah, and we can do it all.
Amazing. So if anyone has any final questions, throw them into the Facebook chat now or throw them on Zoom now, and we'll answer those questions. And then if not, we'll see you guys next week. All right. Well, I think we're wrapped up. Thank you. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Shauna. Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
Absolutely.
Good day, sir.
All right, guys. Thank
See
you.
y'all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, audience.